right, welcome again to the Active Health Podcast, where we're going to talk all things health, fitness, and performance, and where we believe in taking an active role in your health. Today, we are joined by Afton Holt, who has been a friend and a gym member for now 12, 13 years. Crazy to think that. Yeah. And it's been a heck of a journey. It's been kind of fun. I feel like we've been entrepreneurs almost side by side through this whole time. And I think that's probably a good place for us to start, is just we had no idea who each other was. I was starting my second venture in a gym, and in walks Afton Holt.
Funny, because I was like, he's the chiropractor. That's all I knew.
Right.
Oh, he's got a clinic by Family Video. I don't know, right? The first one. Yeah, it was. I remember that was probably my first gym membership in this town. I mean, I lived in the town next door, Webster City. I had gym membership there. And I think at some point I was like, okay, I'll go to this Anytime Fitness. I can go after work since I worked here in town. But then you guys announced you were starting CrossFit.
Right.
And it was that exact time that I was like, that seems cool. That seems something. I'm a push myself kind of person. That's a challenge. And I knew it was going to be a challenge, but I was like, and it was super hot at the time. I mean, it still is hot, but it was like really gaining the initial like across the country steam. And I was like, to have that in Fort Dodge, that's awesome. I knew some people that were signing up, and I was like, I need some socialness in my life too. This will get me to the gym, right? One of those things. And I did it. Yeah. And it was, and still to this day, I think a few of us that were the OGs still call ourselves the OGs.
And I love that's the OGs. And because that first like wave of the 6 to 12 months of opening, the type of people that came in and were those initial people are the OGs. There are people. They're the people that are looking for the challenge. They're the people that want to push themselves. And I'm not sure. I love our gym still, but I'm not sure we'll ever duplicate those first couple of years.
Oh, it was so fun. Yeah. It was because you guys were learning too.
Yeah, right.
You didn't even have everything in the gym.
No.
It was kind of bones.
Oh yeah, it was
compared to what you have now. By the way,
right? I mean, it was literally cement walls and a rubber floor and barely any paint. It was the back room of a gym. It was bad.
Yeah. But we had tall ceilings. We had a little outside loading dock we could use. That anytime we could work out there, we did. Yes. We did like walking lunges in the grass along the sidewalk. I mean, but we loved it.
Right.
And I think it was really the community and like those first few people. And then it was funny because there was you only, I think, had 3 classes when we started.
To start, yeah.
And I always have done evening. I'm a workout in the evening. And I can probably explain why, but so we didn't see the morning people.
Right.
Sometimes you'd come at noon when you had a break in the day, but our evening, and we would just hang around and talk.
Yes.
That was probably the best part.
It was such an interesting time because I think that was the biggest things that had changed over the years is those initial people that came in, they were at a point in their life where they were looking for social, they were looking for something to push them, and they had a little extra time to stick around, and then all of us started having kids, got more busy with jobs and businesses. Yeah,
a
and
lot of them did.
So it's not quite what it was, but that was so much fun back then.
No, and for me, the timing was just in my life. I mean, I would have still worked out. Yeah, but it wouldn't have had maybe a community feel. It wouldn't have had maybe the challenge to it. Like I'd go work out, great, but I didn't know what I was doing. Right. I needed that. I needed that training. Plus, we really talked about nutrition and just health as a person. Right. And I was like, okay, there are some things I got knocked in my noggin that I wouldn't have known otherwise.
Absolutely. So you've mentioned timing a couple of times. Let's maybe just start with your story of how you ended up in Fort Dodge in the first place, and how you ended up walking to the gym and where we've started to go.
Yeah, I think every time I talk about who I am, it always seems I've taken a lot of paths. I have a lot of stories. I've lived a lot of lives on top of it in a fun way. But I always seem to start with saying, I'm from Central Iowa and I was a farm kid. Because that already puts in people's head okay, she's that kind of girl.
I love that. When all of you are watching this, if you're not watching this, you don't see Afton and think farm girl.
Because I'm always dressed, I'm dressed up. But my boots are always in my car. Right? Yep. And yes, I can drive a tractor. Yes, I can do all the things you expect to be done. Yeah, and that's the grit, right? I think that's why I like some of the things when it comes to even fitness and work and having hard challenges, because I get it. That's what we grew up doing, is the figure it outness,
Yes.
which is what entrepreneurs also have to do, and business owners and managers of people. So, Central Iowa Farm kid went to Iowa State for ag because that's also seems normal.
Yep.
And, I was really involved in college, had all the internships and a lot of really great references. And I walked across the stage without a job.
Yeah.
I think because I was picky. I think I just knew I needed something that was really challenging. Somehow I landed in Webster City because it was in my home county, landed there, and somehow then ended up with a job in Fort Dodge. Now, growing up, we'd come to Dodge to the mall once in a while, but I was really close to Ames and Des Moines, so it trumped it. So I didn't really know much. I mean, for probably the first year even I really only knew how to get to work and out. Like, that was probably the first year. And then started exploring, get to know people, right? And now a lot of people think I've lived here forever,
well,
right?
you have a long time.
Yeah, a long time, very long time.
Yeah.
And, but no, I end up getting a job here selling advertising, which is common in this town, by the way.
Yes, right.
For a lot of people that don't understand, we have a lot of publications in this town. Not for me, right? I mean, I went to school for comm and marketing and business and animal science. I'm thinking, what am I doing? And I still remember the moment that I realized, oh, I can be bold, because I was never that, was I went to the Fort Dodge Mall, no longer, the Crossroads Mall, and they were having career day. And so I was doing this advertising job for like 3 months, and I was like, this is terrible. I have to find something in ag that I love. I go to this career fair, and we had a local business there that I was like, they have a receptionist job. I'm just going to go ask them if they had no communications position open or marketing. And I said, I'm just going to go ask them what they've got. So I walk up to this HR manager, and I hand him my resume. I knew it was overqualified. And I said, I see you have a receptionist job. And I notice you don't have a marketing position at your company, and they're very large. And I said, I want to be that for you, but I'm okay. I'll go ahead and start a receptionist. Like, I just told him that. And then I just walked away. And I was like, so cool. What? What did I just do? I mean, that was something my parents would have been like ashamed that I did that. I get a call, and a month later we've created this marketing director position essentially, and was there for 4 to 5 years or so before I left, had to leave, actually was asked to leave, ironically by the same HR manager. And that was a pretty traumatizing, like, low point for me. There was actually a nude picture shared of me, and that ended up somehow in a job that I loved, that I worked so hard for. I just never expected it. And it's not, let's remember, everybody, we're talking BlackBerry days.
Right, yeah, right.
There's nothing like apps we have today.
Right.
So
and this is right when we were meeting each other.
This is right with, so guys, timing. This is like right when Josh and I are meeting. Yeah. And I had like probably just started anytime that year.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. So now I'm a single, I think I was 26 at the time, 25, 26. 26. Single, own a house, have a dog. What am I going to do? Had a career I loved. I probably would have been a lifer. Yeah. This is what I lovingly refer to as God shoves. You heard of God winks?
Absolutely.
God shoves are a thing that, to me, I would have been there. I would have loved it. It would have been great. But sometimes we're not paying attention. And I'm not saying that God really loved a nude picture being shared of me, although he blessedly made me. But I think it was more of like the God shove of like, hey, you need to do something.
That's so great that you call it that. And I don't know how much you even know about my story, but that's kind of how I started Active Health. Is I was working for a local office, and very similar, out of the blue, kind of saw it coming. I was asked to leave because family was coming back and I was no longer needed in the practice.
That's right.
And so, like, literally it went from, I had a career, I had, at that time, what did we have? We had 3 kids and 1 on the way.
Oh, yeah.
And I was asked that, just let know very kindly that, we no longer need your services. You can work here next week. And then you just hit the ground running and,
And you do, like, it's not that we aren't capable of those things. I think sometimes we are just very, and we're not complacent people by any means.
No, but
at the time I might have been.
Correct. And I feel like I just had this conversation yesterday with someone that the biggest hindrance to so many of us is comfort.
Oh, For sure.
Yeah,
My devotional just said that this morning.
Right. Like, we get a little bit of success no matter what level of success it is. And if you're comfortable in that life, it's hard to see why I'm going to push to do something different or harder or whatever. But anyway, yeah. So you're going through a trying time.
Yeah. Yeah. Really questioning.
You get this God shove.
Yep. Questioning my professionalism, which is super important to me. By the way, I'm also singing in bands at the time.
Yes,
I mean, you know this. You
absolutely.
were an avid groupie for a while.
Absolutely.
Loved it, right? Sang a lot. So my face was out there a lot. So I get why this was a hit to maybe this, so they thought, right? And I have all good things to say about that company today. It was what they did in that moment. It was a terrible decision especially when nowadays you want those dedicated employees, right? So I'm questioning things, and the divine timing of when we talk about like health, right? Like those are times when you can really let yourself go. I'm not saying from like even a food nutrition. I mean mentally.
Sure.
Like, I mean, I remember sitting there going, I had a company computer for so long. I don't even have a computer. Oh my gosh, how am I going to apply for jobs? What am I going to do?
Yeah.
And there's nothing like taking a long walk, getting a workout in that doesn't make it just opens up that divergent thinking. You can think broader. And you start to dream. And I'm a dreamer. I'm a creative. And so I remember I had already signed up for CrossFit.
Yeah, you already
divinely. I had already signed up for it. So this wasn't like, what do I do? I'm going to go like seek people. I had signed up for it, not knowing at all what I'm getting into, like way above my fitness knowledge and threshold. But the fact that I had a reason to get up and go to Dodge, right? Because there's a little commute there. Right. I was like, well, I already pay for it. I'm committed now. Get up and go. And I had something like when it comes to any kind of fitness program I do now, anything I do, but specifically in CrossFit, it was this idea that, okay, we're going to track how fast you do something, how much weight you did. And then you're going to know that so you can beat it the next time. Right. And I would not say I was an athlete. I was a cheerleader, right? I wasn't an athlete, but I have always been competitive with myself.
Right. Which is cool.
And I think I realized during that time, like, this is what I needed to have something that's allowing me to, like, what is my bar? Now I'm going to raise that. And I'm going to raise it again. I had something to go after. That in my head now is what I think about when I go to the gym. Right. And I'm like tracking all my weights. And I'm like, okay, you did this many reps at this weight last time. Do a couple more and then you'll get to move up in a weight, right? That progressive overload. And I love it so much. And it gives me a challenge. So during that time, there's about almost 3, but about 2 months where I had to decide what I was going to do. And we're going into winter. Yeah. Winter in Iowa. We all get lazy kind of thing.
And the ag business.
Yes, exactly. And so I was like, and I applied for some jobs, but ultimately I ended up starting my own. Didn't know I was starting a business. I just thought I was going to do something for the meantime, and that would be freelance, creative work, content, marketing work, see where it went. I had enough people kind of say, hey, if you've got some free time, I'm like, I do.
Right.
A lot. Little do you know. Because I kept it very quiet what was going on. I was embarrassed.
Sure.
I'm not embarrassed now, but I was embarrassed then. And I ultimately end up starting what is now CornerPost. And this is year 13.
That's amazing.
So the end of this year will be 13 official years that we've had it, and I've grown a team. And at the time, I mean, I thought it was going to be freelance. And then maybe a job would come up and go back into corporate and whatnot. And turns out I know I'm good at marketing because I'm creative. I get that. But I love business.
Right.
I love it so much. And like, that's what I know I'm also good at. I know that's what I'm good at bringing to my industry, which is agriculture. We serve all agriculture clients. Yep. And I can bring businesses together and collaboration and innovation. So I am not saying CrossFit nor fitness was the only reason, but my God, if I didn't have it, I don't know if I would have gotten there.
It's so interesting that you talk about these God shows, and then I don't know if you remember our original saying for CrossFit. And our original saying, like tagline, was preparation for life. And even when I made that, I was envisioning like the preparation for life, because physically I'm preparing myself for life's challenges. And little do we know that being committed to something and showing up and working hard, although you had the grit and spades before you showed up, you were the type of person to sign up for it in the first place. But that consistency of getting in there and working hard is preparing us not only physically for life's challenges, but mentally to be able to be knocked down and to be able to get back up and to have confidence in ourselves, because we've proven to ourselves over and over again that I can do it. I can do things to the best of my abilities on a consistent basis. And that's, it's so funny when I look back and I look at like things that happen over time. Hindsight's always 20/20.
Absolutely.
But it's so fun to see how those sayings, those little things can apply to so many things. And I'll echo exactly what you're saying as far as, people that maybe don't have a consistent fitness routine, but yes, the physical component is important, but mentally, I mean, just 2 weeks ago, my daughter's softball schedule was really busy and I had, missed several workouts in a row, and then all of a sudden I'm crabby and I'm starting to feel mentally down, and finally I was like, I got to miss this game. I got to go work out.
Yeah.
And it made all the difference in the world.
It does it makes me, actually this week, Monday night, if you looked at the logs, I came here at like 8:30, 9 o'clock. Tuesday was one of our I told you this earlier, largest client events. It's not large as a number of people, large as an importance.
Right.
And it's an all-day setup thing. I had to go south of Des Moines to do it. I'm running errands like after work on Monday was at other meetings. I'm running errands to get all the little things for an event, right? I have to iron napkins. I have to do all these little things. And I was like, you're not gonna be able to work out tomorrow. Who knows what the rest of your week's gonna be like? I just knew mentally I needed to go, or I was gonna kind of like, I don't want to say beat yourself up because you should never do that either. No. But I knew I needed to do something active, right? Yeah. Well, it's been raining all week, so I couldn't go to take a walk, which is my normal. I am a immediate go take a walk or a bike ride or something. And so I came in pretty late. Now, mind you, I also was a little defeated that day, which goes to this a little bit, right? Like not because I'm so competitive with myself. I kind of beat myself up a little bit while I was here that night. Because I was like, I was so excited for that workout too. And the program I do now, which is through an app called Paragon, but we do this progressive overload with weight. And I was so excited to do this bench press. I don't know why. I don't even like bench press. But I was pumped. And I didn't go up any weight. It felt heavier. And I was like, well, girlfriend, you're stressed.
Right.
You have a big event tomorrow. You came into the gym late. I don't give myself grace very often, but I was like, it's a biological body that has to function, and you're not at your prime right now.
Absolutely.
And so while I don't often give myself grace, in that moment I was like, you at least lifted the weight you did last time. So you're okay. But you kind of beat yourself up. But the idea that I went in the next morning, or I got up and was like, I mean, you're just mentally clear. I'm mentally better. And for that, I mean, nobody wants to miss a kid's game. Nobody wants to miss, and I'm not saying you should miss those important things in life. No. But the fact that I was even here, and I came in late, and I did not have to. But I was like, go do it.
And that's just such a great metaphor of like all the little things that you can learn about yourself, learn about taking care of yourself.
Yeah.
More than anything is like learn how to give yourself grace, learn how to make time for yourself, have a self-awareness of what your body needs and what your mind needs. It's so neat that you can experience that. And I think doing things with purpose, not that you have a program, you're following an app, and you have something that you're looking forward to, and you've looked at your schedule for the week, and you knew, hey, I got to get this in. I just think is such an important part for all of us. And I truly don't believe like fitness or going to the gym is the solution to everything, but man, it can be a good foundation.
If you're a business owner,
right?
Yes. I don't know another medicine. And I'm very aware of what I eat. I'm very aware of what I put on my skin. I try to take care of myself really well, as now we're getting our middle-agedness. We're getting, and I turned 40 this year. And so a lot of that is sitting on me of like, take care of yourself. But I still haven't found anything better. I've had a lot of, having employees. You and I both have that in common too. As we built and we scaled, it's the hardest part of a business. Managing money, hard, right? Coming up with new ideas to explore for business, favorite part.
Right.
Employees, I love them. I love every single one that's walked through my doors. And for the reasons they might have left, I still appreciate them.
Absolutely.
But it is the hardest part because humans are a variable that we cannot control. And it's hard. And so for me, when I have those days and clients, by the way.
Right, customers,
they definitely impact me because it's the human variable. And so for me to come in and be able to kind of like let that all go for a minute, And I always joke that if people saw my Spotify, they'd either just really resonate or be fearful because it depends on the day.
Right.
It depends. I might be listening to Sean Hannity
Right.
podcast one day
Right.
and Grant Cardone or something.
Right. Yeah.
And then I'm listening to raging mad
Right.
music. And then it might be just lovely country.
Right.
Like it just depends.
Right.
But it gets my escape and it gets me clear.
Yep.
And the biggest thing, and this is what I like give to that CrossFit time, it gave me something to tangibly finish.
Right.
Because if you're a business owner, entrepreneur, you're never done. You don't get to clock out.
Nope.
And because we love that. That's what we signed up for.
Absolutely. Like I never like I when I tell people about that, as far as the difference of having a great career and being the entrepreneur, is most people when they leave work, their day's done. Ours isn't.
No.
And I think it's like you just said though perfectly. That's not an excuse. I mean, it's not like
no woe is me. It's not a woe is me.
It's because I love it. I love work.
I do too.
Like I've gone through cycles through this. It's like, oh, I'm working too much. I need to like have more work-life balance. But like, that's my hobby too. Like
it is.
I like enjoy it. Like do you play golf? No, that takes 4 hours.
Yeah, I know.
And I don't play golf because, but I like to work. Some people call me crazy, and that's fine. But like, so it's taken me a long time to be just self-aware, to be like, I don't have to apologize that I like to work. Like,
isn't it hard? Granted, I don't have children of my own. I have a lot of littles,
right.
I love all my friends' children and my niece and nephew, but, and try to spend a lot of time because that's fulfilling to me. But, you've probably had this where people ask you, how are things going? Right. And, they also then usually ask like, well, what have you been up to? Okay. Well, I guarantee you can say your kids' activities because you guys are crazy all the time. But often I bet it's like work,
100%.
And it's hard not to feel guilt. Like, are they going to is that cringe to that? Are they going to think I'm weird? If they were in our shoes, if they were an entrepreneur business owner, they get it. They're going to understand completely. Right. Yep. And their questions are going to be more like, what's something cool you're doing? Right. It's going to be the conversations you and I have. Right. If you're not, and there's no right or wrong. I actually had a conversation with a good friend of mine. He was also a client earlier this week. And he's a CEO at a large company too. And I had said to him, why do you think it is that some people don't want to move up the ladder and become, like in his role, a CEO or in the C-suite? Or I've always wondered, like, once an employee is at a company and they figure out how the inside work, why don't they want to go start their own company? But only some of us do. A very small amount do. And then also stick with it. And he's like, that's a really good question. He's like, I just think some people are bred.
I think it is too.
I shouldn't say bred, but some people are made a little different.
Gary Vee says it all the time. Gary Vee talks about like he was wired from the very beginning to be an entrepreneur. He talks about there are people born with, characteristics or body physical to be an NBA player, and there are people that
absolutely
like you have qualities about you that are just you're born with. Yes, you can develop skills and become better at different things, but there's certain like something that you just have to pursue or have to.
It's kind of insatiable is the word I often use. Like, and I think that's an innovative brain.
Right.
I actually was just reading articles today. I don't know why I've gotten into reading psychology today articles, but learning how the brain works. I think working with humans,
you have to.
It's so enjoyable to learn how the brain works. And I was reading these about like what makes people innovative or creative, and a lot of it was able to step back, see bigger pictures, this insatiable need to want to like find solutions and here's the big one. Be okay with failure. Yeah. Because there is no way you're going to own a business, even manage people, even if you're what do they call it, an entrepreneur at a company, which I have entrepreneurs. I'm very blessed to have them on my team. You're going to fail. Yeah. You're going to screw up.
And it's trying to be okay with that. That takes some practice to be okay with it. But like sometimes I might even pull this out because I think a guy I follow, Greg Rochelle, he's one of my favorite pastors that I follow. He posted on, and I don't even know, I'm going to read the quote and it might not even apply to this, but I'm going to explain it. he posted yesterday, be careful not to go through life wishing away the current moment. And what I immediately thought, because yesterday when I read that, I was in a tough moment. I was in a tough moment of, I had to have some conversations with team members. It was review time.
Yeah.
And I even told a lot of them yesterday, I really don't like reviews because I don't feel like I'm good at them.
And that was okay to be honest with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, I just did it.
Yeah.
And the rest of the day was amazing. So the current moment, even if it's a bad moment, what can we learn from that?
Yeah.
What can we grow from it?
Yeah.
What can we push through and like see the other side? Like that's what I got from it. So
that's interesting because and on another day, I hope you like pull that up on another day. You might read it totally different,
100%.
which is fabulous when something really resonates. And there's a phrase I've been saying a lot. So sorry, people in my circles, if you hear this too much lately, but setbacks are life's feedback because they are. I am a perfectionist. I was raised that whatever you do, you be the best at. Okay. That doesn't need to be taken that literal. Right. And but that's how I was in my head. If I'm not at the best, if I'm not that A++, I'm not doing well. Right. Well, that's a lot of pressure on a person. Now I like pressure. I perform under pressure. So I want that. But you have to realize that like in order to get anywhere, you have to fail because now you know what doesn't work.
Right.
And I have screwed up. I shouldn't say screwed up because it really wasn't a screw up. It was actually meant to be when you look back and connect the dots, right? But I had a lot of those setbacks, a lot. And we think it started with a nude photo being shared, but that probably wasn't the first one, right? That gave me that feedback. But owning a business, managing people, managing clients, managing backend, and still needing to lead and be the example. I've had a lot of setbacks, and every time I have to pause. And I'm emotionally driven. I'm a heart-driven person over logic any day. But that can get you into hot water too, because what we say in that moment, what we do, it's driving us where I have to step back and say, okay, let me actually like assess this. And usually it's not as bad as we think. And usually it's actually moving us in the direction. Those God shoves and God winks, like moving us in the direction we're supposed to go. So to me, setbacks are life's feedback. You have to be okay failing. I just said Monday, that wasn't a failure in the gym, but I certainly didn't feel really great about it. But I was like, okay, assess it. Afton, just like you said, like assess it. And I'm like, okay, well, you came and it's late at night. You haven't even eaten supper. Like, like this, and you've got a big thing tomorrow, your brain's, but you came, right? Okay, kudos to you. You'll make up for it. You're like, the gym's gonna be there, right? So
that's so cool. So you've become like the go-to like female entrepreneur in the community. I don't know if
I guess so.
Yeah,
I shouldn't. No, I don't. We have some great ones, by the way.
Well, of course we do. But you're speaking for the Greater Growth Alliance, a women's only event. Right, I believe.
Which I don't normally do.
Right.
No, that's never been. I shouldn't even say this going into that. Actually, I told them that. I told our Growth Alliance, and to be honest, we have an organization like that. I want to support them.
Of course.
I think a lot of my clients, they're not here. My clients are U.S. agriculture. Some of them even serve international ag. And so my clients are not here, but this has been my home base for so long that I want to give back. I want to do what I can. And I don't really do a whole lot of women only things. That's not because my career has been mostly in a male field.
Right.
Funny, I almost always have majority female employees though. So you could say I'm a female leader of sorts. But to me, it was, I just don't see it. I've just sat at boardroom tables and I might be the only female and I've never noticed. I just kind of barrel myself up, belly up right there and be a part of the conversation. I think that's that's the egg industry a little bit too. But when they asked, I was like, my honest answer was I don't know if I'd be the right person that you're looking, like, I don't think I can really contribute to this. And then it was, well, let's just talk through what you might want to talk about. We just had a coffee conversation and we walked away and they said, that's exactly what we want you to do.
Right.
And I was like, oh.
Darn it.
Well, can we just all sit around a table and drink coffee?
Right.
That would be fantastic.
Right.
Like this.
Like this, exactly.
Yeah. I love speaking. I've facilitated a lot of groups. We do a lot of like even young farmer leadership programs. I've been a board president for lots of boards in my industry. But speaking to, same with singing. I mean, I love performing, but performing locally,
right? Sure,
it's different.
It is different.
It's different because these people. But what we forget is we never know that one person that we might just make a positive impact. And my goodness, if a couple hours out of my day does that, then I did something great. And I'm okay with that. Yep. So for me, if I'm going to go and do anything, I want to know I'm going to make an impact. But even if it's 1 or 2 people, right? To me, that's worth it, right? Because you don't know what those people are going to then impact. Right. I had some fantastic conversations with people this week for our event. People that are in my, actually my childhood. One of my childhood best friends owns an event decorating company that we used. My cousin is a chef that did this event. Like, it's kind of fun how it was like a very small world. But we were all having, in the venue we hosted, she's created this amazing venue down south of Des Moines. We were all kind of talking as business owners, right, too. And it was amazing how those conversations, I saw some of them repeat some of the things we talked about in their stories on Facebook, right? And I'm like, that was just a fun conversation. But the fact that it impacted somebody, that to me, so I'm going to do it. I hope everybody that comes is going to walk away with something. And the thing is, if I can just be entertaining and make some people laugh, cool. Because I don't want anything to be heavy. Right. We do enough. There's enough motivational speakers out there or whatnot that are like, again, here's my story and it's heavy and like, life's hard.
What's the topic?
So I think my title is Owning It, the momentum through the mess, but truly it is about, I call it the messy middle. Yeah. And I heard this term, it came across my Instagram at one point and it just, like the quote, stuck. I couldn't get over it and it kept resonating with things in life. So I often, an example would be, let's say you're cleaning out a closet, right? That closet that nobody wants to clean out. It could be your garage too, right? And it's just the place where everything is hoarded. And it's like, today is the day. We're organizing this thing. So you got dopamine because you're like, let's go. You've even probably bought organizers on Amazon. You're pumped.
You're ready to go.
So your dopamine is high. And you go and you start. And you got to take everything out, right? You're organizing into piles on the floor. These go here. You're purging some stuff. And then you've got the miscellaneous pile that nobody ever knows what to do with. And you're a couple hours in, right? And you're starting to get that exhaustion. And you step back, right? And you look at this mess. You go to the bathroom, you come back, you get a snack. You look at this mess and you're like, what did I just get myself into? Everybody has done this. And there's a million things in your life that you can relate this to. And you're like, what am I doing? And it's just overwhelming at that moment for a little bit. And you know what we often want to do? I'm going to walk away and get to it later. Yeah. Well, we know what happens when we do that, everybody. Number one, it's harder because now you got to push that rock back up the hill. It gets harder. It's going to take longer. But if you just stick with it, it's amazing. You are probably, if you looked at those pictures where it shows the person like going up the hill and little did they realize like they're about at the top, they just can't see it. They're so close, but that's when we give up. Your messy middle is normally the part that you're like, this is so hard. It's messy. It feels disorganized. It's chaotic. Comfortableness. I want to give up. And then if you just push through, because like a rubber band, that resistance, we're so close. And if I just get over that, guaranteed you get to that. And then you step back and you're like, dang, I'm pretty proud of myself. Now your dopamine's back, by the way. But you have to struggle through that. And the messy middle can be literally almost anything I've run into. I'm like, well, that's my messy middle for today. I got to barrel through this.
That's awesome. Yeah. I think those women are going to find a lot of value in that.
I hope so, because very relatable. Yeah. The closet specifically.
Right. And I'm not sure if this podcast will post before then, but otherwise we'll promote it. I think it's next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday, July 1st.
Yep. And I think if you hear this before, obviously I think any women can sign up.
Yeah, anybody. You don't have to be a member.
And I think it's free.
You do. It's because there's a lunch. It's a luncheon. So you're paying for lunch. Luncheon sounds very ladylike. Something my grandmother would have done, and I love that word. Yep. And here in town I think they call it the Crossroads Event Center now.
Oh, cool.
Our lovingly former Starlight.
Yep.
And it's a great venue for it.
Yeah, it is.
They've done some great job there. So
absolutely.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
going to be
excited.
fun. Well, I tell you, I'm not sure if we talked about health and fitness as much as just mindset, but I feel like they do go hand in hand so much.
100%.
And I think that's what we wanted to get across. Yeah. And so thank you so much for coming to share your story with us and how those things have affected you and your growth.
And thank you for the gym and the recent remodel.
Yes.
I mean, again, going from the old gym and
That's
CrossFit
crazy.
to then here. To now it looks fantastic.
Well, can you believe we were here? We've been here for 7-8 years already.
Yeah.
And so it was time for a freshen up.
And it looks good. Yeah. People are excited, and it's listen. I come at night. Yeah. I'm not a morning workout person. I go for morning walks, but it's my release from the day. Yeah. It truly is. It's other people do other things after work. For me, that's what I love doing. It's busy here at 5:30. Yeah. I've now been waiting till the 6:30 kind of time.
It is 5:30. Both AM and PM are the busiest times. Yeah. So if you're going to come, that's when everyone's.
Yeah, but I also that shows that other people feel the same way.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, thank you for being with us, and I hope you enjoyed this. Just great conversation with great people about just pursuing performance in health, performance in life, whatever it may be. Questions, comments, let us know, and look forward to the next episode.
Awesome.
You did good.
Thanks.
You are a natural.